My parents had met in Greenwich Village through a mutual acquaintance, a painter who had used my mother as a model. They were both exotic European outsiders, pretenders. Unlike their bohemian friends, they had real jobs. They shared a certain ambivalence, however, when it came to having children. My father's 4 other children lived in Connecticut with his wife. He commuted in to New York by train on Monday mornings. During the week, he lived with my mother, my sister, and me in our tiny 1-bedroom apartment until his wife finally decided to divorce him. I was born in the French hospital, and for the first few months of my life, I slept in a cardboard box in my mother and father's apartment in Harlem. We moved to the Lower East Side not long after I was born, into one of the new projects, a cluster of hulking 20-story red brick buildings called Village View. I remember the sweltering summer nights in that apartment, the windows wide open, the sound of sirens and fire engines as I drifted off fitfully in the never darkness of the humming city. I don't remember who read me James Thurber at bedtime, my mother or father. Many Moons, the story of the tiny princess Lenore, was one of my favorites. Her ability to pine away impressed me. Her command of both her father and the entire kingdom in her quest for the moon appealed to my sense of entitlement. But it was Hagga and the cold duke of James Thurber's story The 13 Clocks who truly captured my imagination. The villainous and incestuous duke was deliciously wicked, the total most frightening in its sinister invisibility. I can still see in my mind's eye the prince and the Golux in their long, dark walk up Hagga's hill. The lonely Hagga motionless in her hut, waiting for the prince to transform her. In the end, she was transformed by her own laughter, unfrozen, her jeweled tears falling on the cold stone floor. By 1969, we had moved to New Jersey, and by 1972, my father had left my mother to return to England. His only goodbye, a letter I can no longer find, and my mother insists, never existed. I saw him once more when I was 12, less than a year before he died of a heart attack. He brought me chocolates in a red heart-shaped box, something you would give a woman, not a girl. I wouldn't speak to him, and he returned to England, both our hearts broken, both of us unable to say what needed to be said. If you ask my mother, she will tell you I never cried when my father left. I remember a few years later, though, when my dog was hit by a car, I cried for what seemed like hours. My tears, like an unfrozen cascade, spilling on the floor. Hagga's jewels in the cold morning light.